Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's knowledge session on menstrual health and menstrual well-being series. Okay, I think over the last couple of sessions, we have understood how menstrual health can be managed and what is the nutritional need of our body when we are going through this menstrual well-being, whether we are going through menstrual cycle or no, how it still impacts my well-being, right? And how to manage premenstrual and postmenstrual symptoms. Okay, today's topic is more closer to all of us because what we are contemplating about doing exercises during the menstrual cycle, right? So each one says different things, and not to forget, it is our belief system which creates what we create, right? So I think today we are going to discuss each one of that idea so that the questions are, I mean, that kind of it kind of clears your doubts, right? Okay. Yes, I am here. Can you all see my slide? Yeah. Exercise in menstrual cycles. I think this is the most discussed, most constantly asked question also for me, and I'm sure everybody. I mean, we have a couple of yoga trainers who are there with us who also feel, I'm sure who also experience the same kind of questions for whatever reason. So I thought, today we will go dive deep into this whole concept of you know exercise in our well-being, right? Good. So what does, I mean, why we can't? This is something that I want to understand from each one of your side. Why do you feel we do exercise? Not about menstrual cycle. Otherwise. Yes, Deepika, go ahead. Why we need to do menstrual, exercise on a daily basis?
To get energy, um, to loosen up all the body parts.
Hmm. Fantastic. I think we all agree to what Deepika said, right? Fantastic, Deepika. So we have some form of an agility to our body, right? It is not about, you know, oh, it gives me, it helps me burn the calories and all. The purpose of holistic happy you activity is to keep you more agile, right? So, do you think we need to feel agile during the menstrual cycle also? Yeah? Yes, no, we all love to feel energetic. I think that's what beautifully she said. We feel energetic when we do exercise. So don't we think that we also need to feel energetic during menstrual cycle? Okay? So now moving ahead, okay, exercise can relieve the symptoms of your periods through different ways. People say that no, I don't want to do exercise. It is it is because of the cycle or the loop that I am in, that I am tired, so I don't feel like doing exercise. Now because you're not doing exercise, you are not feeling like good. So what happens, it's a loop that we are part of, right? Can we all relate here? Okay, so if you are someone who is doing exercise regularly for a couple of months, then for you, there is no problem or difficulty in getting up and doing it. How many of you can relate to it? Right? But then, if you are someone who's very, irregular, there's no consistency in your daily workout, then menstrual cycle is also one of such reason. Can we say that way? Yeah. Okay. I'm telling, I'm sharing my own experiences, because before what I used to do is I was not very consistent in my with whatever simplest physical activity that I was doing. I used to get up and go for a walk for a couple of days in a week. But then every day I'm not doing it. Then suddenly menstrual cycle comes, then I would feel like, oh my god, my body needs rest now. Right? After that, for many years, I started doing workout regularly. Okay? So then I don't even know that I have my periods. It's become part of my life. Can you all relate here? Yeah. So now I no longer want to give myself an excuse because I have a menstrual cycle. Okay. So here it's not about how intensely I'm doing. It's about, am I moving my body to get the energy that my body desires? Can you all relate to it? Yeah. So people think that, oh, you need to go lift 100 kg. No, we are not talking about that. We are only talking about how, you know, comfortably you are maintaining your energy through the month is going to decide how agile, energetic you're going to be through your menstrual cycle. Can you all relate to this? Yeah. So that's how my transition happened. Good. Okay. So now what happens when we do an exercise? A sweat is released, right? We all sweat, right? When we do exercise. So when that sweat is released during the workout, it removes water from your body, including the water in your belly that you feel as part of your period bloat. How many of you have felt bloating before periods? At least for me, the first symptom that I feel before my periods come is I have a bloated stomach. So then what happens? Because I sweat, it removes that excess water storage. We feel that, oh, bloating is part of my menstrual cycle, right? But then it not necessarily be, because there is an excess storage of retention of water in the body, because we have seen that no variation in the hormone during that period, right? So it's very very important to avoid excess salt consumption during your menstrual cycle when you consume, because we all have different craving, right? So some of us enjoy salty salty yummy food, some of them enjoy sweet yummy food, right? So you have to identify what's your yummy food, right? Mine is always salt. So I always reach out to some chips or some form of a fryams. So here, when I consume more salt, what really happens, it normally also it helps me retain more fluid. Now during the period cycle, it adds more. Good. So that's why we start feeling the bloating. But then what is the way we can deal with it is that you sweat it out. Good. Are you all with me so far? Good. So now exercise promotes the release of endorphin. As Deepika pointed out, it gives me energy. But how does this energy gets formed? Because it releases endorphin, which is a happy hormone, people. Right? We all have four happy hormones. So endorphin is one of them. So this may distract you from the period discomfort you're feeling. How many of you feel that when you start moving your body, you will start feeling better rather than lying down on the bed and then sulking in, right? So what really happens when you move your body, you release better quality hormones, which gives you happiness. Okay. And it also, while also combating the moodiness sometimes that is frequently associated with your periods or with PMSI. right? So there is always a mood swing. Most of us have, at least I had before. Now it is not there. Now people can't identify whether I'm going through periods. I have to tell them, no, I have my periods because I'm still the same person. It didn't happen overnight. It took time because of the discipline, consistency, and regularity, right? So now what happens when this endorphin releases, it will boost your energy level as well as it avoids your moodiness, mood swings basically. Are you all with me so far? Good, good. So now the other benefit of exercise is the movement will also help combat situations of fatigue and exhaustion associated with your periods and in general. See, that's why in general it helps us. So it helps us more when we are doing when you are going through the menstrual cycle because there is more possibility of feeling fatigue and lack of energy, right? Yeah. So when you exercise can help you in the normal condition, it can also help you in the menstrual cycle. Are you all with me? Okay. Good. So exercise is known to reduce stress, and stress is known to sometimes amplify period cramps. How many of you can relate to this? I will tell you, some stress always aggravates your menstrual cramps because it is an emotional relation to our body, right? Because it releases more cortisol. Again, I mean, when we say emotional, there is an underlying hormonal variation that is happening. Okay, don't think that, oh, emotion is only a feeling. No, how can it impact my body? No, there is an underlying cycle of hormone variation that happens in our body which impacts me, right? So when you're more relaxed, the whole month, if you're more relaxed, then your menstrual cycle will also be relaxed. The more whole month, if you're stressed or anxious, or you're dealing with something new, or you're trying to you know uh, battle too many thoughts, trying to manage everything together, then your period cramps are high. Good. Everybody can relate to that. Yeah. Because I think we discussed in the initial session only that how each month for a same person the cycles can be very different, right? Including whether we have back pain, we have leg cramps, whether we have mood swings, are we comfortable, not comfortable? Everything is decided by how you manage yourself for the 21 days. It's not how you manage yourself just before or after menstrual cycle. Good? Are we all together here? Yes. So now the other benefit of doing exercises, by using exercise as a means of stress relief, you will be able to alleviate some cramping, right? So when you move your body, your stress automatically releases because you are shifting your thought process from your thought loop to the body movement. So that's how exercise helps people. Otherwise, I am going to sulk in because I am overthinking. Can we all relate? Yeah. And it also increases the blood flow. It helps to ease your cramps. It is not just, it reduces your stress level, it also eases your menstrual cramp by enhancing the blood flow, right? So that's why, do you remember, whenever you have cramps, you are recommended to use hot water bags around your stomach or back or leg, wherever you have cramps. So what really happens is when you give heat, it enhances the blood flow. That is how you relieve your symptoms. Otherwise, what would happen? There is no smooth flow. So that's why we all end up having aches and pains. Good. So easiest way to do that is move your body, people. You call it exercise, you call it movement, you say asana, you say workout, that is all up to you. Good. Moving your body is the only simple and easy solution to relief. Okay, so is that clear with exercise for everybody? Yeah, why one should do exercise? I'm sure we have spoken in detail about why we should do exercise during other period of time when we are normally, having our activity without the menstrual cycle. Today I wanted to specifically focus on how it can enhance my menstrual health if I'm doing exercise during the periods. Good, good. So what are the types of excuses that one can do during this time? Okay, so the see, I'm serving you with a platter of all varieties, right? End of the day, decision lies in your hand. Okay, but then taking that informed decision makes a huge shift in how we deal with life. Yes or no? Know everything, then you decide what you want to do. If I know only one thing, then I will go on sticking to that. I think that is how knowledge session helps us make better choices, because I am making an informed decision, not just one decision because I saw everybody else do it. That's how our belief system is built, no? I see only one thing, I think that is the only choice I have. I'm choiceless. How many of us can relate here? Yeah? Good? Fantastic. So now you can do high intensity workouts. Okay? So the hormonal changes that occur in your body during the menstruation, such as drops in the estrogen and progesterone levels, there is a drop in the estrogen and progesterone level, allow certain fuel sources. Okay? See, I want to explain this biochemical part of uh, workout. So when we do workout, we burn fat. So what is fat? Excessive consumption of any form of food will convert glucose into glycogen. Okay, and this glycogen is starts getting stored in our body muscles, tissues around. Okay, and they also get stored in the liver and all the other organs as a, what do you say, to help us when our body needs an energy. But it so happens that we are never in deficit of energy because we are constantly eating, right? Either binge eating or doing less activity, so that fat deposit goes on storing, right? So now what really happens when you do, that is a normal process, right? When I do workout, I take this glycogen, that is, which is excess fat stored, into my muscle tissue and then burn it during the normal process. But then during this time, when you are going through menstruation cycle, you have access to direct carbohydrates that are stored in your body, which is not yet converted into fat, right? So it is never that our body gives access to carbohydrates, because it is only our cells that has access to carbohydrate organs, which has access to these carbohydrates, which are stored in our organs, because they are going to take these carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, and then convert them into glycogen and then complete their cycle. But then when we are going through this menstrual cycle, because of the hormonal imbalance of estrogen and progesterone, our body gives us a direct access to these carbohydrates. So how many of you have really felt when you do workout during the menstruation, your body feels more lighter? Okay, this is something that I have experienced. Okay, be watchful of it. See, you feel that you're burning more during that, but then it's your individual choice. Okay, high intensity workout cannot be done with discomfort, right? It needs to be done when your body is prepared enough to do it. So if you want to do something like high intensity workout during the menstrual cycle, it needs to be a process where you reach the confidence level that yes, my body is ready to take more. Okay, good. There is a benefit, but then it comes with terms and conditions. Right? Be mindful of it. Okay, to be more accessible to you while you have your periods. As a result, you may be able to have more endurance and energy for short bursts of high intensity workout compared to other weeks where your estrogen is higher and your body relies more heavily on fat breakdown as an energy source, so you won't be afraid to sign up. So here what happens is, when our source of energy is fat, right, which is usually, it takes time to break down this energy and break down this fat and then absorb and then release the energy, right? It have you all experienced this? When you're exhausted and you take the glucose powder, water or something, you have an instant energy feeling, right? Because that is I'm taking energy from directly carbohydrate, because that is sugar, right? When you drink that, it's directly absorbed into body in the form of glucose. Okay, when I'm talking about carbohydrates, it's exactly that. Your body gives you access to these glucose when you are going through menstrual cycle, and you don't have to worry so much. If you're comfortable doing workout, do it. That is the bottom line. If you're not comfortable, then it's your choice. But then, if you want to feel comfortable during your menstrual cycle, you need to get started slowly and gradually and be there. Good? Yeah. So, now hot yoga is something that people recommend during the menstrual cycle. Your body temperature is naturally cooler than normal during your periods. As a result of the drop in hormones, you may find you can tolerate hotter or more climates, as well as take take longer to feel fatigue, right? So when you practice hot yoga, what really happens is that you are made to do it in a heat environment, right? So more you are exposed to heat, there is more tendency that you're burning more calorie. But then, if you ask me, I would say simply do your body movement, right? So, but then if you're someone very keen to burn more fat, someone like celebrity whose life depends on how they look, yes or no? Yeah. So then you can go through this hot dip, cold dip. That's how your muscles start burning more calories, but then not recommended. Okay. See, light to moderate cardio is something that we can all practice. A light jog or a run or aerobic exercises, dance routine, etc., can be helpful to get your body, blood flowing and heart rate should help you relieve your cramping. So here we all need to remember one thing. So why exercise is recommended is to relieve your pain, right? No other purpose. So when you increase your heart rate, your thought process also stops, which saves you from stress, anxiety, right? And it will also helps you have a good blood flow. The cramps happen because there's no proper blood flow happening in my system. And it is not just because of the periods. If my I mean my I don't have that proper blood flow happening all time in the month. But then, because the pressure increases during that period of time, we see consequences of it. Other times we somehow manage it, but then not for too long. Huh? Are we all together here? Yeah. Have we seen whether we have cycles or not have? But then we still face the same problem because there is no proper blood flow in my system because of too many blockages. That blockage can be because of the emotional source, psychosomatic, or it can be because of poor posture, lack of agility, zero activity, right? It can be because and poor hydration, not to miss this, because hydration also impacts my well-being, people, whether I'm going through periods or not going through, right? Good. So you can also do light walking. Anything to get your body moving can help you increase your blood flowing and can help reduce inflammation, right? Any form, keep moving. That is what I would tell people. The more you lie down on the bed, there is more possibility that one experiences more cramps, right? And then can help reduce, it also reduces the inflammation because there's a healing process happening, right? So you don't need to endure anything strenuous to reap some benefits of physical activity during this period of time, right? So you don't have to push yourself to do some form of a benefit just to get access to the carbohydrate. No, it is not recommended. However, keep moving your body to get all the other benefits of, relieving your stress and also relieving your cramps, feeling better is the purpose of activity here. Are you all with me so far? Yes? Good. And then there is also a choice of doing no form of activity, right? So you know your body best, people. Nobody can be a better judge than you. Okay? If you really don't feel well and your body is telling you to rest, listen to it. But then there is a, tricky part here. My body must be telling me to take rest every day. So ask yourself that right question. Is my body telling me to take rest throughout the month, or it is only trying to tell me during my periods? So those two are very, uh, different aspects, right? So you need to be mindful, because when I am building that lazy attitude in me, then my body is going to tell me every day to not to move. So don't listen to that kind of a mindset, because it's really not helping. This is what I've seen. Someone who has a good routine, who has a great habit pattern, would never say no even during the workout. How many of you can relate to it? But then if there is someone who has no habit, I have my periods is one excuse. How many of you can relate to it? How many of you feel if you're traveling or outside house doing something joyful, you don't even realize that your periods were painful? If you're left all by yourself in your room or a house, you have a non-ending list of complaints going. I am the same person in both the places. Because when I'm doing something happier, which gives me joy, I'm creating energy. I'm releasing more good quality energy. But then I'm not doing anything, then what happens? I drain more energy. Then I'm not motivated enough to do anything. So here, if it is so uncontrollable, because not just exercise, a lot of other things also play a role, right? Your nutrition, your hydration, and then how you are managing your emotional well-being, how you manage your stress through the month, all of that has role to play, right? So when all those things are not taken care, doing exercise would be a Herculean task during that period of time, right? If you have managed one thing at a time over the period of time, then exercise is part of your life. Good. I am not saying, I mean, I, okay. So what I'm trying to say here is that exercise, when you do exercise also, try to avoid something which engages your abs, right? Because your body is already having enough cramps to let go during that time. So now don't take more load on your core and abs, because that way what happens, you are giving enough time to rest. But then you can still keep moving your leg, no? You can still keep moving your hand, no? You can still keep moving your chest, no? So you can still engage a lot more other body parts. When you do all of that, it again boils down to helping your stomach and mind, which is impacted during the menstrual cycle. Because we saw how our mind is, engaged during the menstrual cycle, because you know your hormone releases from the brain, pituitary, right? So that is how we are getting menstrual cycle. I'm sure you all remember the previous discussion about the whole cycle of brain and uterus, right? So keeping our mind happy is the only way I will have my happy periods. So every time understanding how your mind is reacting, what is the thoughts in your mind space, is going to help you feel better. Are you all with me so far, people? Yeah, is it all making sense? That why exercise needs to be done or not done? I mean, you are your better judge. I'm not saying you have to do it, or neither I'm saying you don't have to do it. Good. I'm sure there are still a lot more questions, so I'm going to take questions today for another a couple of minutes. Then we will wind up the session. Yes, Sujata, go ahead.
I do the yoga during those periods, but I don't do the Pilates, that core strengthening asanas, that I avoid. Um, Baki, I know that a cat and cow stretch, that some of those I do, but not the Surya Namaskar also I avoid. And sometimes I take rest also. And yes, walking, yes, I do walking.
Fantastic, Sujata. So she is only one person, but then she has made all the choices. Can we all see? We've all done it, right? So that has helped her. Now, can we also practice that? Right? I'm sure, now I want to ask you a quick question, Sujata, because you didn't ask me a question. I will ask you a question. So, were you this all the, your older versions were also the same? Go
No,
ahead.
Rashmi, I was not. I was not lying down. I means at that time I was lying down on the bed taking the rest. I was thinking that rest will recover me, but that negativity was more there at that time. So when I came to yoga, then I thought that this is helping me. So I did this meditation that I do. Meditation, those pranayam, I avoid Vastrika and Kapalbhati, but other pranayams I do. Omkara chanting, those.
Thank you, Sujata. Big round of applause to you. So, what do we understand here is that, it was not that she was this all her life. No, she needed that consistent practice to change her belief system that, yes, I can still do what I want to do comfortably when I have been practicing this forever. Otherwise, we keep jumping from this side to that side, because changing belief never happens overnight, people. After knowing that what I believe is wrong, still we continue to live that life. How many of you can relate to it? Yeah, because it is a process to change that belief again. Thank you. Yes, Sujata, you want to add something? Go ahead. Yeah.
I want to ask you. So, means when the blood flow starts now, then I feel better. When it means on the first day it doesn't happen, the flow. On that day I feel negative. Still, I do some exercises, but at that time I feel negative. When the second day the flow starts, na, then I feel better. I feel energetic, positive also. So is it correct, or so is it in my mind that it is like that only?
Good, wonderful question, Sujata. So now, I think the whole purpose of doing exercise is to let the blood flow happen. Okay, whether it is in our uterus, whether it is in every other body part, right? So when you say that blood flow is not happening, there is a clogging. You know, the clogged pit always stinks. It doesn't smell good, right? So our mind is also exactly like that, right? So the whole activity, the whole, what do you say, purpose of holistic happy is to let you flow not just in your uterus, the flow in every dimension of our life, because we are all stuck at some area or the other. you know where I am flowing, you might not be, but where you are flowing, I might not be, right? So we are here learning together to learn to flow together. So it is natural that we all feel negative. So that's why movement always helps us feel the energy. What happens? There's no clogging that happens. So rivers doesn't stink. How much ever you dump into them. Does river stink? That's why it's called river. But then does pond stink? Yes. Why? It doesn't flow. Very simple. So our body needs to be flowing like a river. How does that happen? When I start working at my belief system and understand that because of my belief system, I'm not flowing. I've become a pond for whatever reason. So that's why feeling stuck is the reason why we start manifesting all diseases possible. Can you all relate to this? Once you start moving your body physically, which is the easiest one to do, then your mind starts moving because you are willing to explore. If you're not moving your body, there is no way we have that level of awareness or control on our mind to let it flow, people. Annamaya Kosha is the most easiest one to access and work on. If I am not working on Annamaya Kosha, there is no way I will have access to all the other four layers. Because discipline is what lets me break through those five koshas of my body. Did that answer your question, Sujata? I know I took it everywhere, but then that is where the connection is.
Yes, yes, Rashmi, I understood. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Sujata. Yes, Deepika, go ahead.
Initial days, I had very bad cramps. So it worsened up while going to college, and uh, uh, after I got married, it still got worsened. Whenever I started periods, whatever I would eat, I would vomit. So nothing was going in. So every time I got that period, so I used to go get IV on. I mean, I used to go get drips. So I didn't know what was behind it. I still don't know. So can you tell me? Now it is all completely gone. Now, like past 4 months, as you said, they can't tell that this time of the month anta ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ because I've come down of that mood swings, discomfort. But earlier it was not there. And I've heard people saying ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮದ್ವೆ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಕ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಮದ್ವೆ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನ ವರ್ಸ್ಟ್. ನಾನು ಪ್ರತಿ ಮಂತು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಡ್ರಿಪ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕೋತಾ ಇದೆ. ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ವೈ.
Beautiful, beautiful, question, Deepika. Can everybody relate? So when she was going through menstrual cycle, she was so exhausted, or she had so much cramping that she would puke, and then she would get IV done, intravenous fluid infusion, which is going to help her stay hydrated. And let me tell you, Deepika, this is the same experience I would have, but then it would not reach to the IV level. Only that first day of my cycle, I would have severe vomiting. Okay, I wouldn't even drink water. If I drink water, also it would come out, and I would faint. So that is the level I was. I'm talking about, I think, somewhere in 17, 18 years when I was. Okay. So now when I look back at it, I realize what all I was not doing right. Okay. At 45, I'm the same person. When I'm young, I'm supposed to be having more energy, but I am having more energy now. Right? I don't have all such experiences. As you rightly said, every gynecologist that I went to would say that once you get married, everything will normalize. After I got married, I went to a gynecologist, and they used to tell, no, after you have kids, it is going to be better. And after my kids, I went back, then they had no answer. They said, give it some more time. Then I realized if I'm giving my body some more time, then I will stop having menstrual cycle. Nothing else is going to change. So that's when I took action from my own side, and I started doing research on how we can create a healthy mental. Sorry, I'm all behind my mind. So menstrual health, right? So now I realize that I was not hydrating myself well. First thing that impacted my well-being, because I was not drinking enough water. The second thing was I was not moving my body regularly. No discipline. No discipline in my food intake also. So I would say poor nutrition. Whatever I eat, it is only junk. Right? So I was not nourishing my body in the whole process. Okay, and I want to eat everything only during the menstrual cycle because I am not able to retain it, right? And the other thing that what I have realized was that I there was no proper meal time for me. I would eat whenever I get food, right? And then the other thing that, yes, I was a very anxious personality myself. I know now when you look at me, you don't feel that. But then I know myself, my older version, I was very anxious. So that would create a lot of stress within me. Then what would happen is I didn't know how to let go my emotions through the whole process. Can we all relate here? Even though my body wanted to support me, I was not doing everything that my body is needing. I mean, my only USP was that I was young. So my body is supposed to take care of me. Can we all relate here? But then my body was starving to death because it was not supported by me in any way possible. Just hydrating myself would have done great work to my body. It's like, you you dry your engine to that level and you expect the car to run. If you're not giving enough oil, you are not giving enough service, you are not refilling the water, you are not adding fuel to your car, do you think it will run? So I was a engine which was damaged because of poor maintenance. So now when I started taking care of all those things one at a time, I am here at 45. When people say I am old, I feel more energetic and I'm more nourished and I have a good menstrual health also. When people say at 30 you're supposed to have your menopause, people say at 40 you're supposed to have menopause, at 45 I'm still counting. So you have more hope, Deepika. Only thing is you have to start. Did that answer your question? Please go ahead.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepika. Big round of applause to you. Yes, Smitaji. Go ahead.
No, I was thinking physical activity was always there. So I didn't think that, during those days I have to take rest. That thought was not there. So I was thinking what was wrong. My emotions and all that was like I told you before, it was literally on irritation mode throughout. So um, I think my nutrition level was very bad because I used to do a lot of junk eating from childhood, the bakery items and all that I used to love. So that was there. So I never took care. Awareness was zero. So that was there. Physical activity, I never I was a very restless person. So I don't remember lying down or that kind of a memory is not there connected to my periods at all. And any problems during periods was also never connected because the problem was there throughout, like emotionally, mentally, irritation, frustration, anger, all these emotional activity was there throughout. So the other factors like hydration, I don't think I would have taken enough water. I remember everybody telling me take water, but I never used to take. So nutrition, of course, I can understand now, which would have, and of course the discipline way of lifestyle also was not there much, which I had developed it fully recently. So these things would have had a lot of impact on my thing. It's not only the physical thing, what I'm saying is that was there, but these things would have really, and of course these things would have affected my thought process, my stress, my emotion level also. Now I understand what was the issue.
Thank you, Smitaji. Big round of applause to you. I think Deepika asked a beautiful question which helped me to sum up every aspect of my life where I didn't take care. So I'm sure we all can relate here, right? So, holistic life is not just about managing one thing. It is about working on all the dimensions and bringing all those components together to achieve that sustainable happiness. Otherwise, it's like very short-lived, very short-lived. And I have gone through that phase. So that's why I think that kind of a commitment is needed for all of us. And one person cannot do it all because at different phases we all go through different experiences. Thank you, Smitaji. Thank you for that. Anita, you there? You'll be able to speak. Okay. You want to add, Sujata, something? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gayatri ma'am?
Yeah. See, it's a long time since I have had my menopause also, but yes, first day of the periods, I used to have severe cramps and till the flow started. But after that, it was cramps were not there, but I used to always have very heavy flow. But by default, we had to move. There was no chance because we had to walk to college, we had to walk to school many times. The transport facility was not so good. So maybe that kept us going throughout. So we had to walk long distances. I don't remember doing any other form of exercise during the period. Of course, when I started doing yoga, the first 3 days I wouldn't do the yoga part of it. But walking I always did. So it wasn't emotionally, I don't think I was affected during periods, neither plus or minus. It was like any other time. So that's all I can remember now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gayatri ma'am. Big round of applause to you. Thank you for sharing that. I think some form of physical activity always helps us. I think as she had, that experience of moving around really helped her because it's a constant thing. Every day you have to go to college or every day you have to go to school. So it has become a part of our routine. So some way or the other, because when you walk, you're also, hydrating yourself because you're exhausted. Right? I think physical activity really gives our body enough signals, which helps us to grab all the other things and then practice them. Good, good. Thank you. Yes, Geeta. Geeta, you there? Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. Earlier, not on the period day or the when the flow starts, I used to get cramps. But after my kids, from 10 days before, I used to get cramps and leg pain and a severe headache and a giddiness. From past 2 months, it has been reduced. I think it was so much attached to my emotional part of my life. Now my severeness of my headache has reduced. I'm not saying that my headache is completely gone, but yeah, severeness has reduced. And uh, a few 7 days before I got cramp also, but even that severeness got reduced, and I didn't experience leg pain at all this month. I think these all symptoms were more related to my emotional part of my life. Uh, Before marriage, I used to get admitted to hospital also. Later, it got reduced. Now I don't feel that. Yeah, and my mood swings also has reduced. My cravings has reduced. I think from past 2 to 3 months, I am observing that it has reduced everything, whatever I used to get. Yeah, as you mentioned, when I'm in happy mode or I'm doing something for myself, I never got to know that I am on my period. But if not, I'm doing anything for myself or my happiness. Yeah, I used to sulk being on the bed, or when I am doing something for others forcefully. I used to get almost fever. So that is the difference. Now, whatever I do it for myself. Now, I'm not experiencing all those things. Thank you.
Fantastic, Geeta. I think big round of applause to you for all that awareness. When we are informed, I think awareness automatically comes. I think that is where the knowledge really helps us to get ourselves back into all of that. Thank you. Thank you. Big congratulations to you again. Stu ma'am, you there? Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Stu.
As Gayatri said, we had no choice but move. Okay, so immediately after college, I got into my training. Then after that, I started working, and we had to travel by bus. So every day, bus or train that I used to travel because I was in Yelahanka. So lots of walking to do every day. So I think that was one of the reasons that probably I hardly had any cramps or any of those kind of things during the early days of working in my my 20s, 30s. I don't think I had much of pain. Once in a while, I think I used to have severe. I used to have a mild, a bad stomach pain, but I also used to have loose motions during maybe the third day of periods. I remember I had taken a dental appointment and then I cancelled it. And that evening, it wouldn't be during my work. It used to be mostly when I'm at home or through the day. It used to be very bad. There were a couple of periods that I had severe loose motions. So I said, "Oh, thank God that I didn't go through the dental treatment." But I think moving and walking around so much continued to work, and we had no choice but to work. So I think that was the thing. The problems that I faced more were closer to, I wouldn't even say menopause, but I think after when I was about 40, that I had more, my periods became more irregular. Yes, that time there was a stress, lots of stress in coming into my life with my daughter was falling sick and things like that. So probably all those things aggravated, and my periods became irregular and bloating and all of those kind of things happened. But otherwise, early days and all of that, I would say, not feel anything at all. And walking, I think I did so much of walking, traveling in so many buses, and we had to run to catch buses and things like that. So, 8 buses I used to travel even during my work, and then also during my pregnancy, I have traveled in 8 buses every 3 times a week and done things like that. So I think kept me active, and being active, you have no choice but be active. So it was very strong. And I think the walking all the time, legs movement was always there. And working with children, and I worked always with children with behavior challenges. So there's lots of running around. You have no choice. The kids keep you active. So I think all of that movement just helped with the walking regularly. And diet, of course, was always been my I think to be careful about my diet. Thank you.
Thank you, Suji ma'am. Big round of applause to you. Thank you for that sharing. Suma ma'am, you there? Mute ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ನನಗೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಇದ್ದವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೆನಪೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಬಹುಶಃ ತುಂಬಾ ಆರೋಗ್ಯವಾಗಿದ್ದೆ, ಅಥವಾ ತುಂಬಾ ಹಾಸ್ಟೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಿಲ್ಲ, ಜಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹಂಗೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಯಾಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ಟೆನೆ ಇದು ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಹರ್ಗಕ್ ಜಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ವಿ ಹೊರತು പക്ഷെ ನಂಗೆ ಏನೂ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ದಿರ ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ದಿರ ನೆನ್ಪಿರ್ತಿತ್ತು ನಂಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಸಫರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ. ಹಾಸ್ಟೆಲ್ ಹೆಂಗೋ ಹಂಗೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೋಯ್ತು. ಮನೆಗ್ ಬಂದವಾಗ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗ್ ಉಪಚಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಏನೋ ರಜಾ ಆದವಾಗ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಎಳ್ಳು ಬೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಜೀರಿಗೆ ಬಿಸಿನೀರು ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಸಫರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ ನೆನಪಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಮೆನೋಪಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಫರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ ನೆನಪಿದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಈಗ 5-6 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಈ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಫರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಸೆಕೆ ಆಗೋದು ಆತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಅಂತಿದ್ರು, ದಿನ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಸರಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಆಗದೆ ಇದು. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ತಕ್ಕ, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಡ, ಹಂಗ ಆ ಮಾತಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಏನು ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಹುಶಃ ಹೆಲ್ದಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವ್ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ವಾಕು, ಇಮೋಷನಲ್ಲು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಆತರ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೇ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಇರೋದೇ ಈಗ ಹೋಲಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆನೆ. ನಾ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗ್ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಫರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಂಗೆಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಮತ್ ಅವಾಗ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾತು ಯಾರು ಆಡ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಲಾದ್ರುನು. ಬಹುಶಃ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಮೆನು ಪಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Big round of applause to you. Thank you for sharing. So, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಮೆನೋಪಾಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೋ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್. You maintain everything the way you maintain when you are having menstrual cycle. Your menopause is also going to be a smooth journey, because we didn't manage our routine well, and the problem continued. That's all. And we shift from one phase to another, and the problem remains. Okay, menopause itself is not a problem. My lack of routine in my life is the problem. And of course, emotional aspect. See, when we are young, our body tries to protect us. But then as we start growing older, because we have given up as a young person on our body, there is no body to support us, which is not healthy. So then what happens? The consequences also goes on increasing. That's all. So manage your nutrition well, manage your emotional health well, hydrate, keep moving. Then menopause is also going to be a smooth journey by itself. So there's no different, menopausal well-being, and there's no different menstrual well-being. Menstrual wellness is everything clubbed together. If I'm doing all these components well, then overall menstrual cycle and my overall well-being, not just menstrual, because if I am feeling well, then only my menstrual health also is well, right? But then there are fine tuning slightly here and there, which we understood through this menstrual well-being. Thank you, Soma ma'am. Big round of applause. Thank you. Mamata, you there? Yeah. Good. You're on mute, Mamta.
Yeah, I came a bit late for the meeting, but listening to everybody's all my questions and have all been answered here, because everybody had the same mind, had almost each and all 11 of them had same things which I also went through. So I would say initially they would say periods they say immature ante they would say, but nan ಲೆಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಾಗ ಮೆಚೂರ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ only for the body changes anta. I think probably I never gave importance for my emotions or my mental maturity. I would say I got it very late after my second delivery, 30-35. Amal gotag shuru aitu what all I had to do to keep myself. Probably, of course, I was a basketball player till I finished my high school. College I didn't continue. Of course, even we went by bus and walking and all those things we used to do. That part of physical activity was there, but I would say emotionally and didn't have that much of maturity. I would say body had got that maturity, but mind and emotion never gave me that maturity, how I should do and all those things. Later, after my 2 deliveries and all those things, if I had been more mature in my thought process, mental outlook, probably I would have pushed my own hysterectomy surgery, or I wouldn't have gone through my hysterectomy surgery this in my 45 46 47 years. I wouldn't have gone. I think I would have pushed it much more better and handle it much more better ansute, even to have that physical changes what I went through in the last phase, which was really bad for me. So I think maturity, as I said, not only because of your physical body changes. I think maturity should have come even with your mind process, your how you have to handle your menstrual periods and all those things. So I think most of my questions, when all those girls were put across and you have answered, so it has covered almost all my questions. I got all my answers. Now I'll say I have got more mature in my outlook. So I'm able to guide my daughter. See, this is what I went through. I didn't have knowledge then, but it is how it has to be handled now. So I have the maturity to guide my daughter. Of course, my niece sometimes when she really requires, and when I feel I have to, interfere in between, and I get her and all those things. Now I feel I've got the maturity when, the fruit is completely ripe. So I think, at least now I'm able to guide them, and, they can have a better, changes what they need and what that help they need. So that's a nice, knowledge, at least never the late I got it. Thank you, Rashmi.
Thank you, Mamta. Big round of applause to you. And when it comes to menstrual health, no, it is never late, because if not, we have managed our menstrual well-being well in the younger days, we are also paying a price for it later. Because see, when people say that they have gone through hysterectomy, there's still ovaries left. Ovaries is the one which is playing the chemical havoc. So it is very much needed now also to take care of your menstrual health, because when there is a hormonal imbalance, my body is responding to it, right? if I've not managed all the other dimensions of my life well, then I'm still a victim of this menstrual challenges. So, so as long as I am alive, my menstrual health is very important. That is where I stand today. So, big round of applause to you, Mamta, for wonderful sharing and all the realization. I think we'll quickly ask your warm moment for the day, and then we'll close up the session. Yes, go ahead, Mamta. You can share your warm moment for the day.
Yeah, menstrual cycle as a thing, it had so many, stages, I would say, because we have been discussing from almost 4 weeks now that, every stage was so beautiful at its own, I would say, there are different flowers in the garden, this flower was at that initial stage, the next flower, and I think it's been put up so beautifully. I think beautiful knowledge to have at the right time. As you said, even post medically pushed menopause also, it's beautiful at its own stage. Thank you, Rashmi.
Thank you, Mamta. Big round of applause to you. Yes, Sujata, go ahead. Your warm moment for the day.
That more body needs to be flowing like like a river. Sorry, not a flower. River. I like that one. Thank you.
Thank you. Big round of applause to you. Thank you. Yes, Smitaji.
Yeah, I was thinking that, only my emotional aspect was the problem. So, my mind, my knowledge was the thing that, took me to the next level. But now when I was writing it down, what had happened earlier, so I realized that nothing was there, it was, everything was zero. Nutrition was less, hydration was less, physical activity was a restless activity, not a regularized exercise. So that was a awakening for me, that, I was thinking little bit was there and little bit only I gained, now nothing was there and everything I gained, I realized. Thank you. That was my wow moment, really.
Yeah, big round of applause to you, Smitaji. I think I can completely relate to Smitaji when she was saying, yeah, I was physically active. But then, how aware I am about the physical activity that I'm doing? Is it a conscious effort, or it is just an act because I had no other choice to do? I think those are two different aspects of the same coin, right? So when I'm doing physical activity, am I complaining about that activity that I have no other choice and I have to walk during my periods, or I have to do this thing? That doesn't really add energy, because the intention behind your action also plays a major role, people. I think me and Smitaji had a lot of talk about this intention over for a year, right? I remember now because she brought it up, so I'm just letting other people also know. Hope that is okay with you, Smitaji. Yeah, so because it's not just the action itself, with what intent you're doing that action, that decides whether you're getting the energy or you're draining your energy. I think that is very, very crucial. I might be doing, but then I'm complaining and doing, it drains my energy rather than giving me energy. And then when I'm doing the activity not with ease, then it is again creating more blockages. It is not giving me flow. Beautiful, beautiful, Smitaji. Thank you for bringing that aspect. You want to add something?
No, the intention part that you mentioned, no, I realized that every activity, the intention has to be in the proper place, with proper understanding. You can be throughout your life, you can be doing everything correctly, discipline, nutrition, everything, but it doesn't have any effect on mind unless and until the intention is very clearly understood. Totally. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me that.
Thank you so much, Smitaji. Big round of applause to you. Yes, Deepika, you're there?
Yes. So the session answered my previous doubts and future doubts also. So I'm very clear now what to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepika. Big round of applause to you. Thank you. Suchi ma'am, you there?
I think understanding and realizing how the emotions play and how deeply it affects our whole system is something is big realization, I think, because how strong we are emotionally, what kind of supports we get, I think that's a very critical thing. That what is the kind of support, what can you do, and I think that's what has sort of pulled my undergoing a hysterectomy at the age of 41. I think the problem started when I was 39, I think. So I think I could just manage about 2 years, 2 years or 3 years with a lot of irregularity and things like that, which affected. And that was a time when it was extremely stressful because my daughter was not well. She had become epileptic and lots of issues coming with that. So I think not that it went once I got my hysterectomy, it continued before it finally culminated, I think. And definitely the menopausal emotional part of it definitely works. I think that's so critical for all of us to understand. We are born as women, whether we like it or not. We have to accept that, and that these are aspects, periods, and the menstrual cycles, and all aspects related to that, and the hormones are going to be a part of our life. And how we learn to handle and accept is what is going to be the quality of life that we will be choosing. I think that's the biggest thing here. Like understanding that, I think is, and hormonal imbalances happen at any time, whether you're menstruating or not. I think that's definitely there. So there's a lot of work that awareness, knowledge is great is to be able to, your starting point. At least this is where you are aware of these things and how it will impact. I think that's something which is what I'm looking forward to keep working on the mental health, and thereby it's like everything is reconnected, no? Physically, emotionally, and all that. So continue to do your exercises and the thought. I think so much more to do, and to keep working on it. And you can't say that, oh, I've reached this age and I don't need to do anything like this. I can just relax. I think that's, as long as we are alive, I think there's so much to continue to work on all these things, because hormones will continue to play their part. And the sutradhar for the hormones is our mind and our intentions and what we do with our body. So it's really a wonderful session. Every session is giving a lot more of understanding, a lot more of better awareness. And like I've been saying, knowledge is powerful only when I put it into action. So I think lots to do on those lines, and continue to do. I think this group helps us to all keep on decluttering aspects from our body, mind, and soul, I think, and our environment. So it's good. Looking forward to the newer versions which will keep coming out. So I think the dream me, working towards the dream me is in process always, and I think it will get more intensified with these kind of sessions that we are having. Thanks, Rashmi.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Suchi ma'am. Big round of applause to you. Thank you for sharing that. Geeta, you there?
Yeah. And doing the thing with right intention was the warm one for me today. As you spoke about it, then I thought about it and realized, yeah, intentions are important. Now, as I'm enjoying whatever I'm doing, and I do with my intention, right intention, that yeah, it has to be done by me, or I should do it. I'm happy doing it. Then I think a lot of things are falling in place. As as my emotions and even many things in my, on my health also falling in place. Thank you. I was searching for the right word. I think that was the intention. Thank you.
Thank you, Geeta. Big round of applause to you. Congratulations to you. Thank you. Gayatri ma'am?
And the menstrual
Going-
cycles
Yeah.
continue throughout life. That's what you said. I mean, even after menopause. So that was my wow moment. And I also liked a lot what Mamta said. ಹಳೆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಮೆಚೂರ್ ಆದ್ಲು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ವಿತ್ ದ ಆನ್ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆನ್ಸಸ್. ಸೊ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಮೆಚೂರಿಟಿ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಮೆಚೂರ್ emotionally also. So that was also my wow moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gayatri ma'am. Thank you. Big round of applause. Did I miss anybody? Is everybody done? Yeah. Anybody wants to add anything? Yes, Mamta? No? Sure? Go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to add, the what I felt. I mean, I was able to, share it with everybody, and Gayatri ma'am liked it. So, thank you, Gayatri ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mamta. Big round of applause to you. Yes, Smitaji, go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of people are having fibroid in the uterus, and is it also because of connection to this and the hormonal changes that happens?
I will answer that, Smitaji. See, again, I know we need to be flowing like a river, right? So when there is no proper flow happens, it starts clogging everywhere, right? So then what happens? See, I am not moving my body with the right intention. I might be moving again with the wrong intention. Then there is an emotional clogging that happens. So they start finding places in my body to get accumulated, right? Because your uterus is not serving the purpose which is there in our body, then that becomes a void space to accumulate all of that. So that is when your hormonal imbalance contributes to that. But then why is that hormonal imbalance? Because all the other components are not maintained well, right? So then when there is a foreign body in your own system, then obviously you are supposed to feel the aches and pains because there's more cramps, there is more issues with that. And again, why the intensity of cramps is also more because there is no proper blood flow. So it's like a vicious cycle I have jumped in. I don't know where to break it out and then come out. So then what happens? We have to start working on all of them together. And that would be a Herculean task if I have to do it all by myself. And it is not an instant result will come. It takes time. Till that takes time, I need to have that right intention that it is going to work for me if I do all of this. Then you can be out of it. So that's how. So once you start, having that proper blood flow and hormonal balance kicks in, then fibroid is something that is repairable. It is not something that, oh, I have it, so I have to go through. Is not there. Because there are also so many cysts that get formed in our uterus. There are also fibroids that get formed. But then they keep changing with how well I manage. It's not irreversible one. If I haven't, taken care of it and let it reach the stage of irreversibility, that is when the surgical treatment is done. So, because of my lack of awareness and because of lack of awareness around us also contributes to that, right? And how you manage it is not one dimension; it is multidimensional. So it is actually integrated system that works. It's not, oh, I will just take care of my physical or just my nutrition. No, it is everything that needs to be worked together. But then we also, I mean, the phases we are going through is so restless. It's hard for us to break through that thought process and then come out and then see that, yeah, there is a solution for it. So then we just jump into the action of surgery. Make sense? Did that answer your question, Smitaji?
Yeah, totally. A lot of people, women, no, at my age, come saying that I have fibroid and all these things. So it has taken a lot of years to build it up to this kind of a thing, you know. So I just wanted to have a clear understanding.
Yeah. So it is an outcome of all that they have ignored over the ages. It is not something that has happened now. They might, you ask them, they never had a good healthy menstrual cycle itself. So it is moved on because you would have had the menopause. So now your body has no way to cleanse it itself. When you have your periods, what really happens, at least some way, whether it is painful, whether it is cramping, it is complaining, but then still you have some flow existing. Can you all relate here?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I like the point that you said, no, since it is not having any action now, childbearing is not happening for many years for people. So it is void. Everything is getting accumulated. That's why a lot of uterus problems are coming up after, that time. Yeah, I understood. It's a very valid point. Thank you.
thank you so much, Smita. Big round of applause. We'll continue taking questions because start analyzing this back home because it is our own experience. So we have lot to ask and lot to analyze. So it may not come immediately. So we'll catch up with the same topic and continue to answer all your questions. So that's why I just wanted to make sure it is like we give channel to let go those thought process because that is equally important. That is how we start analyzing and work through our emotions. So good. So I'm going slow and steadily with emotional health because we all have lived it for decades. That's the true beauty of whole experience for this one. Thank you everybody for your wonderful participation. Thank you everybody for your wonderful contribution and helping me process my own menstrual cycle well. Thank you. Have a blessed day. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Rashmi.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.